Drivers, start your engines!
Yellow's out. Man, just about outrigged him. And she busted her.
Hello, everybody. Episode number 34. We are almost done with March. This year is absolutely flying by. Got a lot of interesting information for y'all today, so thanks for sticking it out with us. The green flag is out. We're ready to roll 3 wide with DJG. Dakota, how we doing?
We're doing
Same
thing, different day.
Yeah, I feel that. Anything interesting lately at all?
Not that I can think of.
Okay. Did you have a good weekend?
I did. I stayed home and watched all the races at COTA. What about you? You do anything fun?
So what I do, I don't even remember what I did. Oh, Friday night, we went to Roadhouse, had us a steak, not Texas Roadhouse, local Roadhouse. Had a really good steak, went home and just kind of hung out. Saturday, woke up and I got a pedicure. Listen. I watched a podcast with Theo Vaughn, who was interviewing George Kittle, which is an NFL player. And George was talking about, he's like, during the season, he's like, I don't mess with it just because I want my feet to be calloused and this, that, and the other. He's like, but in the off season, he's like, I get pedicures all the time. And so Shalina was like, I need to go get my nails filled and this, that, and the other. And I'm like, I want to go with you. I want to get a pedicure. Oh my gosh, it's heavenly.
Yeah.
Like, it's a very quick process, at least where we went was. But I was like, man, like I feel so much better.
Yeah.
Then, let's see, Saturday evening, we went to Muncie, went shopping, she needed some clothes she's going to a leadership conference this week in Ohio. So she needed some clothes for that. We were trying to look for some other clothes for when we go to the Bahamas. Then we ended up going to see the new Scream movie.
How was that?
It was really good, actually. We were debating on whether or not to see the new John Wick, but since I haven't seen the other ones, we're going to watch all the other ones and then see the new John Wick. But it was like a 2-hour and 40-some minute movie, I think, something like that. It was really good, though.
Mm-hmm.
Then we went to Olive Garden, had some pasta. And we went to Walmart and got us some self-care stuff. I got some like teeth whitening strips and yeah. And then Sunday, I literally didn't move from the couch.
Yeah. I need to partake in the self-care, I think.
Listen, it's very, like, I don't know, it's soothing. It's kind of like it's a reset to your mind.
Yeah.
Like, we did the clay face masks. They have these little, like, pads that go underneath your eye.
Mm-hmm.
We did those. It's very, like, it's such a simple thing, but, like, I don't know. It made my skin feel like it was breathing on its own on my face. Like, it was so weird, but, like, it's like, this is nice.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Good deal. I think we're going to the movies this weekend, but we're watching, I don't even know what it is called. It's a movie about a coach or something. I want to watch Cocaine Bear.
I kind of want to see it too, not gonna lie.
The trailers are kind of funny.
Did you know that that's actually based off a true story? Like, the bear didn't go on a rampage, but
Yeah,
the bear,
I've heard.
Part of that actually happened.
Yeah, I heard. Would like to watch the new Scream movie. And then there's one coming out later this year with Jennifer Lawrence. I don't know if you've seen the trailer for it. I forget what it's called. But that movie looks funny too.
There's a movie coming out. It's like The Priest's Exorcism or something like that. I want to see it. And then there was another trailer that we saw waiting for the Scream movie, and I was like, I really want to see that one too. Mm-hmm. I don't remember what it was called. I'll have to look it up, but Shalene was like, no, I'm not watching that one. I'm like, yes, you are.
Was it like a scary movie? Or?
Yeah, and it looked pretty like... Because I think the big problem... Sorry, I know this isn't racing related, but
It's our podcast.
It's okay to talk about life things before we dig in, take this deep dive we're about to. But like scary movies lately just aren't that good, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Like, it's just like nothing about that scared me. It's like, yeah, there's brains on the floor, but
going to Newcastle sounds scarier.
Sometimes, honestly, like you're not wrong.
Yeah.
All right.
Now we'll get into the racing, I suppose.
We'll get into the nitty gritty. So we're going to start off with the ARCA post race. The ARCA Menards East Series hit the track at Five Flag Speedway on Saturday. JGR rookie William Sawalich grabbed the win. He can just drive whatever.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people complain about the team that he ran for super lates just because they literally go everywhere and dominate.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, this speaks for like, yes, there's money.
Yeah.
But like we've talked about before, at some point, like the talent has to back it up, and
he'll be in Cup as soon as he can.
I see that.
Yeah.
So he was followed by Luke Fenhouse, Jake Finch, Sean Hingarani, LeVar Scott, Tyler Reef, Zachary Tinkle, Tanner Arms, RJ Smotherman, and Ed Pompa. The ARCA Menard Series will hit the track again on April 22nd at Talladega Super Speedway. The ARCA East Series will then later travel to Dover on April 28th. The ARCA West Series will travel to Irwindale Speedway on April 1st, followed by Kern County Raceway Park on April 22nd.
Let's get into, you want to get into COTA?
Not yet.
Okay.
I don't have anything to add, but I just want to, like, why is there, like, the main ARCA Menard Series, and then there's also an East and a West, like...
I guess it's regional races, but it's also like I wonder how complicated it would be to run either series, either East or West, and then also run with the main series.
Yeah, like I think it'd be cool. I'm gonna compare it to like a tournament bracket. You have your East, your West. You all run X amount of races, and then you take the top 5-10 from each, assuming that there's 10 in each.
Yeah.
Because I know, like, with the ARCA East, when they come to Winchester, there's not that many people that show up.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know if that's just because of the track, and nobody's like, I don't want to go tear up a whole race car.
Well, if I remember correctly, the year that we went, weren't they running Bristol like a week later or something?
I think you're right.
And so a lot of people were just heading down to Tennessee or didn't want to risk wrecking a car.
Yeah. But you take those top at however many and then, like, run, like... Kind of like they do on iRacing with the Road to Pro, the Pro, and
Yeah.
But that's not gonna happen. just thinking out loud here. But okay, let's get into this beautiful disaster that we call Circuit of the Americas.
The Craftsman Truck Series hit the track on Friday, where Zane Smith dominated and won back-to-back at COTA. Kyle Busch, who was a favorite to win, took a chance with pit strategy and was hoping for a long-run approach. However, he had a pit under caution and restarted 16th and was never able to compete for the win. Smith beating him by 5.4 seconds, followed by Ty Majeski, Tyler Ankrum, and Ross Chastain. Smith's win marked for Front Row Motorsports the third win at COTA all 3 years. After his win, Zane literally burnt it down to the ground when his truck caught on fire at the start-finish line.
There's a picture of him just like standing there looking at the truck, and I love it.
Yeah, and it's like, how would you feel? Well, and then, like, I don't remember who was in... Was it Harvick? I think he was like, there's a good reason not to put those mud flaps back on the truck. He was like, they're pointless.
Yeah. Bob Pockras tweeted as they were hauling the truck off, he was like, this truck literally won the race 20 minutes ago.
Right.
And then it was, like, all charred.
Yeah, and I think one of the die-cast companies is going to make a die-cast of his truck, so I might order one.
It should. Did Kyle Busch run in the Xfinity race? I don't remember.
I think so.
Well, it was either after the truck race or after the Xfinity race. Did you see the interview with him because he had blisters on his hands from the shifter? He's like, my girly hands can't handle the H pattern.
Yeah.
I thought that was funny.
Yeah, and then I was also wondering too. It's like how I couldn't imagine going from, maybe it's not that hard, but going from H pattern to sequential. Like how big of a?
I don't think going from H pattern to sequential would be hard. It's going back to the H pattern after the sequential. I think what would be difficult.
Yeah, I just feel like it'd be a little complicated at first.
But yeah, I don't. It's crazy to think that like just the difference in the shifter, like he now, where 2 years ago he was fine because he did it all the time. Now he's like, I have blisters on my hands from trying to shift. I know we can wait till we get to the Cup Series, I guess, to cover this, but actually no. They said that they shifted roughly 20 to 25 times a lap. It equaled over like 1,700 shifts during the day, and I'm like, that's insane.
Yeah, I remember hearing broadcasts say that, and I was just like, that I can't even comprehend. Like, I can't picture it. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
it's crazy.
But I'd be exhausted.
Oh, I would be too.
And then you watch how fast some of these guys are coming out of the corners in their cars sideways. I'm like, you're fighting the car while trying to shift. And I'm just like, no way.
I thought about that too. I was like, if I were to ever get into like that level of racing, would I be able to run the road courses? And I just don't believe in myself. So I will say that previously on this podcast, I said I could probably run anything. I think that's the one thing I probably couldn't do.
I'm gonna counter that. I could do it, but I'd be 2 minutes slower per lap than everybody else.
I mean, I did run like the IROC series. I ran at the road courses. I didn't do it well, but I did it.
Yeah, I think I could do it, just not fast. Not as fast as as any of these guys.
Yeah.
Some of these guys. Who am I talking about?
All of them.
So we'll move on to the Xfinity Series. AJ Allmendinger, who led 28 of the 46 laps on Saturday, went on to win at COTA for the second year in a row, marking his first win in the 2023 and 16th in the Xfinity Series. William Byron finished second, followed by Ty Gibbs, Sammy Smith, Justin Allgaier. And Justin Allgaier. My apologies. Let's see. Smith, Allgaier, Hemrick, and Sam Mayer will compete for the $100,000 Dash for Cash next weekend at Richmond, as they were the 4 full-time highest finishers in Saturday's race. That race was...
I don't even remember it.
I don't either. I just know that AJ Allmendinger absolutely dominated that race. He ended up in the back, and I was like, I granted this track's big, but he was like 26th, and then in 2 laps, he was like, oh, I'm in 12th. I'm like, what?
Yeah. He's just really good at road course racing.
And that's the thing, like, you can't just pass anywhere on a road course, so, like, that means he was on it.
Yeah.
His car was good. It was fast.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Josh Berry got beat up right at the start of the race, too. Like, it was just, his whole day was just downhill.
Yeah. Which is rough. I would be pissed.
I would be, too. But, I mean, you got guys going at, like, the turn 1 at COTA is the gnarliest thing I've ever seen. Like, you're going uphill, and then all of a sudden, it's like, it's the sharpest left turn. Mm-hmm. It's basically a U-turn.
Yeah.
And you got guys trying to fit 6 wide into this turn. Like, it just doesn't work.
Mm-mm. Yeah, it's interesting. I got nothing else to add for that race, but this race was a mess, to say the least. After 3 overtime attempts, 23-11 driver Tyler Reddick brought his number 45 home P1, his first one in 2023, and for his new team. Reddick was able to hold off Busch, Bowman, Chastain, and Byron on Sunday. Sunday's race also featured drivers from other disciplines of racing, including Jordan Taylor from IMSA, Jensen Button and Kimi Räikkönen from F1, and Connor Daly from IndyCar. Button brought his Rick Ware Racing Ford home in P18. Taylor, who filled in for Elliott, came home in P24. Räikkönen finished 29th, and Daly, who only ran 16 laps before retiring from the race due to extensive repairs, finished 36th. Jimmy Johnson was also scheduled to race on Sunday, but only, I think, barely got a lap in.
I don't think they got 1 lap in.
Didn't get 1 lap in before
I'm not sure.
getting collected in an accident, ending his day in 38th. Side note, Chase Elliott, who is still recovering from his ski accident, joined the broadcast booth Sunday from Colorado, which I thought was awesome.
So I got a couple things here. One, I want to start off by saying I was very impressed with Jordan Taylor, his qualifying run. Put it P4.
Yep.
And this is his first time running a Cup car. Mm-hmm. Granted, he has a racing background, but... So I was impressed there. Sucks for Jimmy Johnson.
Yeah.
But you and I were talking about this before we started recording.
Yeah.
So Bubba Wallace broke a rear toe link and blew an oil line, and was during his interview was like making rookie mistakes. 2 weeks in a row, 6 years in the Cup. Maybe I need to be replaced. And
I don't think there was a.
Oh, he said
there was no maybe. There was a I need to be replaced.
Yeah. Sorry. But like I'm just like, okay, in that situation, you broke a rear toe link and you busted an oil line. How is that your fault? Now I don't know what happened before that, because obviously he just plowed through Larson.
Yeah,
not intentionally, of course, but
well, I think it was due to like being in an accident. So maybe I could see him being like, I should have been able to avoid it. But I mean, look at all the other drivers that got taken out. I think when we got to overtime, I think there was already 8 cars. Mm-hmm. I mean, with Wallace included, that were taken out of the race. So I mean, it's like you weren't the only one.
I guess you beat yourself up because it's like qualify better, and I wouldn't be that far back in the middle of everything. But yeah. I mean, stuff happens.
Yeah. Well, and we were talking about that too, and I won't get into it. I think he is very hard on himself, obviously, but I think he was a little bit too hard unnecessarily Sunday, and that's what I'm going to say.
Yeah, I agree. Like I think he's ran fairly decent this year. I mean,
he's had good runs,
and he hasn't necessarily had the finishes he wants, but let's be real, he hates more than anything when he finishes second. I'm like, dude, that's a good race in my eyes.
Yeah,
but so I mean, I get it, but also I believe there was comments made from a couple. I think it was Jensen. It was either Jensen or Kimmy. I don't remember. It was one of the two F1 guys. And they were talking about how Cup drivers are on it all the time. Mm-hmm. Like, there's never a moment where they're not giving it their all. And so they were like, we basically experience an entire F1 season in a day.
Yeah.
With the Cup guys. So I think that says a lot about, I mean, you have F1 drivers coming to Cup and be like, woo, this is difficult.
Yeah. I also think those thoughts and opinions also, I think, help show that NASCAR really is more physically demanding than people think. But there was a lot of opinions from drivers Sunday. I remember Ryan Preece.
Bunch of hacks.
It was rough Sunday. I mean, especially towards the end, it was just 3 overtimes. Apparently, obviously the old rule was you get 3 attempts and then after that it's over.
It's unlimited.
A lot of people didn't realize that the rule changed. Richard Childress was not aware. I think Kurt Busch made a comment about it, that this would be the last attempt, and Boyer said, nope, unlimited. And he's like, when did that happen? And he said, I must have been out of the car that long, huh? So that was funny. Kurt Busch also got very emotional when Reddick won, and even said something about how he wants to be back in the car, but he's happy to see the car go to good hands. So,
I want your opinion on something not related to him being emotional, not related to him at all, actually. But what are your thoughts on them not throwing the yellow at stage breaks?
I don't know. I thought it helped make the day go by a little bit faster.
I agree.
I wish we would go back to the old style of racing where we could have the stage breaks where points are rewarded, but have no caution.
That's what
stage breaks.
Right. Which is what they did at COTA.
I wish they would do it everywhere.
So okay, that's what I was going to branch to. Do you think that should translate to oval tracks?
Yes. I think it should be all year round. We shouldn't. I mean, I get it because I think there is some strategy at play there, but I don't care for it.
I think part of that helps the viewer because not everybody wants to see a race go on for 3 hours where the lead's 26 seconds.
Yeah.
You know, that gets kind of old. I get it, but
And I get the whole idea of like NASCAR wanting to like restack the field every once in a while, 3 times a race, without counting cautions. I don't care for it. But that's just my personal opinion. I think it drags out the day a lot longer too.
yeah, I could go either way on it. Like sometimes I'm like if there's no cautions, I'm like, okay,
For sure, yeah.
I want the stage break. But if it's just caution filled, I'm like, okay, skip the stage break if we don't need it.
At least they don't do like at Winchester when they do like caution flags every 75 laps or whatever. What if we did a halfway break? I mean, would that be better than doing
Like
3?
let Brad get out of his car and go to the porta john.
I saw they're like, why did the camera follow him to the porta potty? It's like, that's embarrassing. That'd be me though.
I think it was NASCAR Chasm tweeted, I'm at the Brad
It is a
Keselowski
bunch of
meetup
porta
if you can
potties.
pick the right one.
That was hilarious too. That's how many porta potties Mount Lawn needs to have.
For sure.
Because I'm tired of waiting in lines when I'm trying to get ready to go out and practice or qualify. Do you want to take this time to bring up what you were talking about before we got on with our friend?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, I'll let you take the lead on it, and then I'll throw in my opinion.
So you're talking about what I was talking about with...
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So my friend Chance was texting me today, and we didn't go in depth or anything about this particular matter. He just kind of brought it to my attention, and I think I would like to talk about this. I don't know if you have any input, but he doesn't understand how Denny Hamlin can own a team but still compete for another team who every week competes against the team that he owns.
Yeah.
He's like, that doesn't make sense. Now, for those of you that are like, what about Brad? Brad is racing for the team that he partially owns.
Yeah.
So, like, that I'm okay with, but I'm not going to sit here and throw a big fit about it because at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. Mm-hmm. If you're in front or if you're in second behind the car that you own, you're still probably going to try to win. Like, it's not like I'm going to give it up because I own this car. No. I mean, it's still his job, in my opinion. Like, he still wants to win, but it does seem like there's a conflict of interest somewhere there.
I will say, I thought that too at first, but I look at it from Joe Gibbs and 2311 have an alliance. So essentially, the way I look at it, on paper, Denny Hamlin owns the team, but because they do have an alliance, Joe Gibbs Racing might as well own that car.
But that's my thing. Would that alliance exist if Denny Hamlin didn't own that team?
Probably not. But I also don't know that because, I think Kendrick does have ownership stake in Junior Motorsports, but it's like, would that alliance exist if...
That's true.
So, I mean, teams like, I don't even know now. Front Row Motorsports has an alliance with another 4 team. Like, these teams work together. They have alliances. Richard Chotis supplies a whole bunch of engines to Chevy teams. So it's like, yes, on paper, Denny Hamlin owns the team, but I think a win for 2311 would be a win for Joe Gibbs Racing and vice versa. But yeah, I can understand, like, I don't want to say Chance is an outsider. I think that's offensive. But like the world of dirt and asphalt is so different at different levels, and like,
It's insane.
I mean, looking at NASCAR, for example, a lot of things don't make sense to me. So I can understand, like, how does that work? But that's just how I see it. You know, the alliance is there. So at the end of the day, I think it's a win for either team regardless.
I just think the big issue, like a lot of people have the problem with, it's like, oh, like you said, on paper, he owns the team. So it's like, I don't know. Like, it just seems unfair, even though there's really no advantage to it.
Now, I will say, when it was first announced that Denny would own a team, there were a lot of people like, hey, is that fair? Because he's going to have
Inside information that,
as an owner, that other drivers wouldn't have. I think we even talked about that, but I think we also said at the end of the day, like, if it's something that drivers need to know, the owners are obviously going to fill them in on it, unless they can't, obviously. But then, I don't know. I definitely see where he's coming from. I just see it a different way.
Yeah. I mean, it's one of those things that we'll never really know because we're not in that position to know.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, we're not Denny, so we'll never know.
Yeah.
Hey, do you have a hand up above, on
Anybody
everybody
else.
because you own this team? Like, what do you know that we don't?
Yeah.
We'll never know. But anyway,
Yeah.
that's kind of all I have on that. But
I keep rolling away, and it's making me mad. Sorry. Let's see. NASCAR announced last week that Josh Williams would be suspended for one race, missing COTA. But he didn't receive any monetary fines, to my knowledge.
I feel like that was solely because Denny offered to pay it.
Yeah. His shirts also went off the market at 7 p.m. today, and I'm kind of mad because I wanted one.
The
parked it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really wanted one. Oh, well.
They took them off already.
Yeah, which I was kind of surprised about because I think the money's going to, like, Children's Hospital. So I wish he kept it up a little bit longer, but what do I know? NASCAR also announced that Hendrick Motorsports will have their appeal hearing on March 29th, while Kaulig Racing will have theirs on April 5th. Denny Hamlin, who appealed his penalty for comments made on his podcast, will have his appeal hearing on April 6th.
Speaking of penalties,
Yes.
have you seen the video of Suarez after the race?
I was going to bring that up too. Thank you. Yeah, what the I heard, I didn't hear, I saw on Twitter that, like, Bob Pockrass, Gluck, and a couple other guys were talking about, like, the potential penalties.
Well, I mean, he did it on pit road right in front of a bunch of officials. Yeah. So I feel like if Denny got penalized for...
Daniel Suarez will definitely get penalized. I know, like, the range of penalties was, like, owner points, playoff points, fined anywhere between $50,000 and $100,000, and possible suspension. I guarantee you he'll get a penalty. I also didn't realize until after the race that him and Chastain had exchanged some words.
Well, because
he bumped Chastain out of the way.
He literally moved Chastain out of the way to get the...
Yeah. Yeah, I think that was kind of unnecessary.
Yeah.
Like, if you want to retaliate, go for it, but, like, don't do it on pit road when there's literally what looked like hundreds of people.
Dude, I saw the video of, like, the whole cool-down lap, and he's still racing. Everybody else is just, like, window net down, kind of cruising. He's, whoa.
And did Bowman, like...
I don't even know what happened. Like, I don't recall. Know why he was upset.
Yeah, I don't remember. Because, I mean, everybody made contact, so it's like...
Right. I know at one point Suarez was up towards the front, and I don't know if he got spun because of Bowman or what. But
yeah. Did anything else happen?
It's funny because, so, like, I follow a podcast and all that on Twitter, and they're all posting videos of, hey, this happened. Mm-hmm. And then on the other side, I follow Jess Ballard, because Travis works for Bowman now.
Yeah.
And she retweeted a video of him pushing the car back to the garage. She said, hey, that's Travis. I'm just like, I see both, like, the two total opposite sides of everything here. But.
Yeah, which I still think is amazing for them.
Absolutely.
I'm trying to think if there's anything else, because I feel like there was something else I wanted to touch base on from COTA, but I don't remember.
Ross Chastain got to drop a watermelon from the tower.
Yeah.
Not for winning, though.
To, like, commemorate his win from last year.
I definitely almost put money on Reddick to win just because I know how strong he is on road courses. And I'm kind of sad that I didn't, but
yeah,
it amazed me how much of a lead he was able to gain on, like, each restart. Mm-hmm. Like, I was like, Kyle Busch kept lining up behind him on the inside, and I was like, Kyle Busch is going to win this race. He's going to steal it in turn one because he kept overdriving the turn every single time.
Yeah.
And I was like, Kyle Busch is going to win this race. But he kept pulling through, and then, I mean, just straight took off.
Yeah. Well, this wasn't what I was going to bring up. It doesn't matter. It's not important if I can't remember it. But I did think it was interesting talking about Kyle Busch. I think it was after the truck race. He's kind of shitty in his interview. But then every other race, I don't remember if he's in the Xfinity race. Don't quote me on that. But the Cup race for sure, he was a lot nicer in his interview. I'm just like, it's weird how, like, he'll race for himself and he can be like the old Kyle Busch. But anytime he has an interview under RCR.
Does he have multiple personality disorder?
I don't know. I don't think so. I just think it's like you can be Kyle when you're racing for Kyle, but when you're racing for RCR, you have to be on your best behavior. It seems like I just thought it was interesting to see that too because I was like, oh, because even like the reporter was like, oh, okay,
Yeah.
I was like, I gasped. I didn't really, but I was just
Two different versions of Kyle.
yeah.
You know, it's funny. I don't know why that made me think of this, but I was talking to Shalina yesterday while we were watching the race. I said, you know what aggravates me more than anything? She said, what? I said, when people get out of their race car and they're sponsored by a drink, the way that they hold the drink so that the logo can be seen on the camera.
So now you have to drag me because I did exactly that when we tasted Victory Fuel.
But I mean, it's like they're sitting here on the interview and they're like, they have this whole like big ass can and they're like,
I literally went just so it faces the camera, and then when I drank it, I made sure that.
but I mean, like that's totally different. Like, I wish I had a can here because I would show you exactly what I mean. But like, okay,
I know what you mean because I did it.
but okay, it's different than like holding it here so the logo can be seen. Like,
Yeah.
But I mean, they're literally one finger loop around the bottom.
Yeah.
Like that's all that's holding the can.
Fair enough.
It aggravates me so much. I'm like, everybody knows what it is.
Right. Yeah, that's fair enough.
I understand they have to, but
Speaking of, so again, one of the diecast builder people things, manufacturers, I can't remember which one because there's Lionel. I think it might have been Lionel. So I don't think it was Circle B. I think it was Lionel. They cannot make Tyler's race winning car because Monster.
why?
Because I don't remember. They just tweeted something about due to I think it was like they said sponsorship restrictions. We can't make the race winning car from COTA.
Dang.
I was like, now that's kind of,
Yeah.
and I guess like the way people were talking, Monster won't let them use their logos.
Well,
I was like, damn, fair enough.
fine, be that way.
Yeah. I'll let you take this topic because I think we talked a little bit about. No, we didn't. Not this one.
Not this one. Kevin Harvick announced that he would be competing in the Cars Tour event at North Wilkesboro. This will be during the NASCAR All-Star Weekend. He said, I'm excited to get to North Wilkesboro and compete in the Cars Tour. I've watched Dale go out and have fun racing with these guys, and I've been kind of jealous watching from the sidelines. He went on to explain that he wants to take the opportunity to get to know his fellow competitors and determine how he can help them with his racing knowledge. This event, scheduled for May 17th, will be live on Flow Racing.
That's exciting.
I know. I always love it when NASCAR drivers go back to grassroots racing.
Well, especially since he owns he's an owner of the Cars Tour now, so that's kind of cool.
Did you see he was tweeting about the video? He released the video on Twitter. Kevin did, and Keelan quoted it and said, "Keep the seat warm for me."
and Harvick was like, "These are literally my race cars." Yeah. So the article that I read to get that knowledge was talking about how I guess he's bringing back Kevin Harvick Enterprises or whatever it was, which I think is cool. And Keelan's going to have a Cup career soon. Not soon, but once he gets older. I highly doubt he won't be in the Cup Series.
Right, I agree with you.
That he won't be. Yeah,
I know.
I wanted to make sure I didn't like double negative that and say he wasn't ever going to be in there. I think he will be. And Clint Boyer's son, he's funny. So Clint Boyer's son is funny. I watched a Kyle Larson YouTube video, but it was his son racing against Cash, and they got into a little fight.
Yeah,
that shit was so funny.
And then you got to throw Brexton in there.
Yeah, I watched one of their videos too, and he cracked me up.
I think as a kid, though, or a parent that has a kid in racing, it would piss me off to no end if I'm out here struggling to get my kid to race this Bandolero because of money, and then Brexton Bush shows up because they haul it in their NASCAR hauler to one race. I
don't doubt that.
And it's sponsored by Serve Pro or whatever company that he has on the car.
You know what's worse? Being 24 and 25 years old wanting to race, and you have little 5-year-olds going out there and racing because they can afford it and you can't.
You know what they have that we don't?
Rich parents.
Daddy's money.
Yeah. It's also crazy to be 24 years old and seeing the future of NASCAR, and you're just trying to make it into the lowest levels of racing.
I just want to race at Mount Lawn.
I'm gonna be 84 years old racing at Mount Lawn, still trying to get it to like
In
NASCAR.
your stock compact.
In my stock compact. It's like, one of these days I'm going to make it to NASCAR. And you have all of these guys already racing.
Buddy, you have 4 months left to live.
Like, I don't give a damn. I'll get there.
Never mind, I can't say that.
Want to bet?
Nope, I won't say it. Not on air.
Can you tell me after? I'm
Yes.
curious. Okay. Anywho, moving on. I threw this in here because I thought this was cool. So Logan Adams, a student from Hancock County, is set to compete in F4 for the 2023 season. Adams, who comes from a racing family who began his career racing karts at Newcastle Motorsports Park, has joined the Jay Howard development team to compete in F4. Adams said that, "I'm excited to have the opportunity to race with Jay, and his program is a great start for my open wheel racing efforts. Racing runs in our family, so I'm anxious to continue that. The next F4 event is scheduled for May 18th to the May 21st at Road America."
For the May 21st.
To the windows. I thought that was cool.
So, yeah.
I like to highlight local racers doing big things too. So.
Absolutely. Which is weird because, like, I don't really know that many kids our age ever, in high school that were interested in racing.
There's one in particular, I won't name drop, that I never would have thought would have been in racing, and then you find out that he was in racing. I don't know if he still does it. I think he does.
Yes.
Yeah.
Pretty sure.
Last person I would ever thought of.
Yeah.
To be in racing.
He was always very quiet about it.
Which I'm like, why? I'd be bragging about that.
Especially for who he was racing for.
Yeah. I would have been bragging.
Yeah.
I would have been on...
Rightfully so.
I would have been on like TikTok Live every day bragging. See, this is where I'm at, motherfucker.
Yeah.
Get on my level.
For sure.
Good for him, though.
Absolutely. I'm jealous.
Me too. Is that daddy's money, you think, or is that like...
I don't know. I don't even know who this is.
What are you talking about? I'm talking about the guy we're talking about.
Oh, I thought you were talking about him.
No.
I thought you
His
were talking
grandpa
about
Paul raced in IndyCar.
Oh.
I'm talking about our local guy.
I don't know if it's... No, not daddy's.
You think I think it's uncle's money.
Yes.
Yeah. Damn, I wish I had a rich uncle. All my family's deadbeats. Except for my, like, very close family, obviously. But everybody else can joke.
If I ever walked up to my dad and be like, "Will you fund my race car?" He'd be like, "I'm going to shove my foot so far."
Have you tried?
No. I know better.
Well, he ain't my dad. Like, yo. Damn, I'm really jealous.
But you know what? We all have our own way that we have to make it. Everybody can't take the same path, or it wouldn't be...
So speaking of that, do you believe in manifestation?
Yeah. You know, it's really funny. I saw a TikTok.
Is it the ladies?
Talking about ladies or lady? There's one I saw.
It's called the I've Had It podcast, or I think it's called I've Had It. I don't know.
We're not on the... No.
Damn. Okay. Do you want to go first?
The one I saw was this chick was talking about if whatever you want, you can manifest it by speaking it into your water bottle.
Okay, yeah, we're not on the same page.
And this guy was like, "I want a big, long..." I'll have to pull it up. It's hilarious.
So the one I saw, it's two women, and they have a
find it really
podcast. I saw it on TikTok. I thought it was the funniest shit ever. I think it's called the I've Had It podcast, or I'm over it. I don't know. I think it's called I've Had It. Anyway, basically, part of their episode is like, I'm over blah, 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 blah. Mm-hmm. She's like, I've had it with people talking about manifestation. She's like, I saw an Instagram post for some woman, and I guess her and her husband have like matching Rolls Royces, and like private jet.
Wow. That's nice.
And she was like, the other co-host was like, if you get down to the bottom of it, she probably had rich parents. And the other one that was talking about it was like, if you get to the bottom of it, she can suck the chrome off of a tailpipe and give her husband,
Yep.
24/7, 365. And that's how she can afford the Royals race and the biggest private jet you've ever seen. I thought that was funny.
There was, that makes me think, we went to the Backstreet Boys concert, and there was this lady that was next to us, and she was with these 2 or 3 guys, and we were all talking, and she's like, I had to do a lot of sucking to get these tickets, and I was like, you just said that out loud?
She didn't care.
Hang on, here we go.
You want manifest the body that you want by speaking exactly how you want to look into your water and drink it.
I want a big, long ass.
She also said, the podcast host, she was like, if you want a Rolls Royce and you want the biggest fucking private plane you've ever seen, she's like, just think about it. She's like, thoughts and prayers and manifestation, if you just sit there and think about it, you'll get it. And she was just like, the point she was making was like, manifestation is like, it does not work. Which I think sometimes, I think you can manifest things to become reality. I don't think me sitting around all day be like, damn, I want to race, blah, 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 blah. It's obviously not working now. I don't think it's going to work later.
You can't just manifest it and not do anything about it. Like, it's not going to just fall into your lap.
I wish it would.
Oh, me too.
But yes, I agree. I just thought it was the funniest thing I've ever seen. She's like, she can suck the chrome off a tailpipe, and that's probably how she got all that. Anyway,
That's
sorry.
great. Speaking of thoughts, I had a vision. This is actually.
I think I just realized what you were talking about that you couldn't say on air.
What?
I can't say it on air, but I think I finally clicked with what.
I don't know.
I hope not, but
We'll see.
okay. Anyway, sorry.
So, how far is Angola?
Shit, I believe. Oh gosh, I think that's up there by. It's up north. I know. Who?
Angola.
It's up north. That's where Trine University is, I believe. That's where my sister went to school for a little bit.
Maybe it's not Angola. It's not Angola that I'm thinking. New Albany.
That's way down.
That's south. That's where Kyle's from, right?
Yes.
That's what I was thinking.
They're not that. They're like a rock's throw away from Kentucky.
Right. So I was thinking, like, okay, obviously I have this huge, big idea with Shalina to have a barn dominium with a big, rather large shop in it. And I was just thinking, I was like, if like Kyle and any of his guys, if they ever come up to Anderson for like a race and something breaks, I'm like, hey, let's run to my shop. Like, how cool would that be to just be like, oh, I have friends that are here.
How much is rent going to be for like a pad or something? Because
I would like to have, my absolute goal would to be like 6 bays.
yeah, I'll rent one.
And I would make you rent one, but because it'd be nice. Obviously, one for the race car, personal vehicle. If God forbid something ever happened at the same time, you know. I don't know. Just I don't have to have a lift in every bay, obviously, but just enough room to work on a vehicle and not be in the way.
Yeah. Do y'all talk about getting a boat by chance? If you ever get a boat, let me know.
We're kind of torn between a boat and a camper.
Yeah.
And
I can't afford enough for either because I don't make a lot of money, but we're trying to save up money for a camper. But I mean, we have the pool, but like I miss going to the lake. I've been manifesting a boat and that hasn't happened either.
The only problem is with those, you also have to have a vehicle to pull said things.
Yeah. And
Or you just get an RV and that eliminates that problem.
take them both. Yeah. It's also very expensive because I don't know where you guys would boat at, but we went to Brookville. And I think back then, that was like years ago, it was like $100 to fill the truck up and then $100 to fill the boat up. But you had to like stop for gas like twice, I think, because of the distance.
Yeah.
But anyhow, I was just wondering. I've been manifesting both, and
I have a lot of wants, goals in life.
I have a lot of and I don't make enough.
It's going to take a lot of financial responsibility to get there, but I don't think it's unachievable.
I need to find somebody that can tell me, okay, this is what you can do on $15 an hour, and how much I need to like cut back to buy a late model one day.
Just the big part is the way things are now. Like, everything's so expensive. So, like I told her, I was like, I want to search for the land now so we can buy the land, already have it paid off, and then whenever we're ready to just build,
Yeah.
boom, we're good.
Yeah. I want that land down there. I don't like the road that you have to take to get there, but I really want that land.
I want something that's out away from everything, but not
Too far.
too far. Like it'd be nice if I could live out basically in the middle of nowhere, but only have like a 5-minute drive to town. Mm-hmm. Now, again, with the way things are now, everything's expanding. That's kind of hard.
Yeah.
But
yeah. And I'm not an economist. I don't know how to do math half the time, and they hired me to work at a bank, but I don't want to get into like the topics of today, but like I feel like there is going to be some type of economic like crash. I really do. And like a housing crisis maybe, where like we have like real estate that just like the housing market will just go pff.
And I want to buy a multi-million-dollar home for 5 cents.
I saw a TikTok that said like a 23-year-old squatted
Yes.
at a mansion.
Yes, and he filled out something, and so like he's not really breaking the law.
Yeah, he's not like it's
The
like,
law's on his side, actually.
yes, and it's so okay. We're way off tangent.
That's okay.
I think it is crazy. No offense if you're a squatter or have been a squatter or know a squatter. No offense. It is so
Unless
crazy
we're
to me.
talking about squatting your truck, then please hit a tree.
Yeah. Well, don't hit a tree. That's I don't condone that. I condone that. I don't condone that. I don't agree with that is what I'm saying.
I'm just kidding, by the way.
But it is so crazy. Like, you can break into somebody's house and say, I'm a squatter. And then, like, they can't kick you out. Like, you have rights. Like, civil squatter rights. And I'm like, if somebody walked up in my house,
You're getting shot
you're getting shot.
by multiple weapons.
And it's just like,
multiple times.
because I'll see videos all the time. It's like somebody squatted in my house while I was on vacation and I had to like call the police and there's not anything they can do. I'm like, are you f***ing kidding me?
That is why you don't post that you're on vacation. Ever.
Yeah. I'm just like, it is crazy to me though. Like, we live in this country. I mean, this country is not, there's a lot of things wrong with it, but it's also like, I could break into yours and Shalina's house and say, I'm living here now in the guest bedroom.
You have to take that up with the landlord, not us.
Fuck the landlord. I got squatter rights. You know what I'm saying? Like, that is just so mind blowing to me. It's like,
Yeah, I don't know.
anyway,
Back to racing.
sorry guys.
Here's Dakota with the weather.
It's currently cold and raining and everywhere's flooded.
It's rained so much.
Yeah, I think they said like if it was snow, it would have been like 4+ inches. I don't know. I'm not good at the weather either, but it's been cold and rainy. Anyway, we have some updates from the Hickory situation.
Hickory.
Doug Barnes took to Twitter. Whoa.
Quitter.
Squatter. Doug Barnes took to Twitter
Squirrel.
after Hickory Motor Speedway updated their rule book. Not only was the tire rules for the twin races updated, mandating a minimum of 20 laps on tires to be eligible for the second race, but track management also added a social media policy that drivers and teams must adhere to. Doug said that he was in the process of making a video but had decided not to. He went on to say that Landon had texted him to inform him of the new rules. Doug went on to make it clear that he would not be returning or racing for points and that it's time to make the video. The new social media rule states that professional behavior and representation by all drivers and teams will be required by Hickory Motor Speedway management. This professional behavior and representation includes on track, at the track, on the speedway ground, social media posts, and any other representation towards Hickory Motor Speedway or anyone else involved with the track. Violations could include fines, season point deductions, purse deductions, and or suspension. Their statement concluded that this rule is not to, in any way, silence social media, but to continue a positive move towards short track racing and attempt to slow and or stop the misrepresentations made towards all short tracks. I just want to say, bull.
I don't agree with that at all.
Well, I just think it's a cop-out because what are you talking about to slow or stop misrepresentations made to all short tracks? You guys fucked up and then doubled down on it and lied. And now you're saying, careful what you post because we might suspend you. That is so mind-blowing to me.
And that's my thing. Who decides whether that's a misrepresentation or not? So
Couldn't tell you.
you're literally putting it in the hands of someone who...
All because the track management got their feelings hurt because people were pissed that they got caught lying.
And now you lost the racer. If you would have just owned up to the fact that you screwed up, I guarantee you Doug Barnes would still be racing there.
And he's still going to make his video talking shit about you. So what did that achieve? That is so crazy to me. I don't think that I would race somewhere where I couldn't criticize them. Because I've criticized Mount Lawn.
There's a proper way to criticize. You can do it without being downright shitty.
For sure, but I don't think any of these drivers crossed the line. I think they were being truthful, and I mean, there's proof that Doug was lied to. There's proof that they didn't say the rule in the meeting, which would have been the perfect time to say it. So it's like, I agree with them adding the tire rule. I think that clears things up real well. But then to say, well, you can't criticize, basically saying you can't criticize us without looking at what you say and seeing if it violates our rules. Mm-hmm. That's so crazy to me. I don't know why anybody would want to race there now. You know what I mean?
I agree.
I don't know. Slippery soap.
Soap or slope?
You know, either or. They're both slippery.
So we got a few other mentions here. I believe this is the last bit of information for the show today.
Yeah, just some small mentions, and then if you want to add anything else at the end.
So Buddy Kofoid grabbed his second career win in the World of Outlaws NOS Energy Drink Sprint Car Series at Talladega Short Track over the weekend. Sorry, that was my phone. The SRX series has released their complete driver lineups for 2023, and it goes as follows. So you have your core drivers that are Keselowski, Deegan, Labonte, Newman, Stewart, Tracy, Andretti, and Hunter Ray. And then, excuse me, we have some fill-ins for specific tracks. So at Stafford, we have Boyer, Harvick, Hamlin, and Kanaan. Thunder Road, we have just Kanaan. Motor Mile, we have Castroneves, Kyle Busch, Boyer, and Newgarden. Berlin, Castroneves, Kyle Busch, Harvick. Eldora, Kanaan, Lucas Oil, Castroneves, Boyer, and the one and only Kenny Wallace.
He cracks me up.
I love Kenny Wallace.
His video that he posted about, was it around Thanksgiving? He's like, boom, try me, bitch.
Yeah, I love it.
He cracks me up.
He's hilarious. Nashville Fairgrounds Speedway is set to kick off their opening night on April 1st. You can catch all the action on Racing America. The CRA Series is also set to kick off their season openers for the Street Stock and Late Model Sportsman Series on April 2nd at Shady Bull Speedway. The VOR Series will also be kicking off their 2023 season.
At Shady Bull. Sorry, I should have added
that. At Shady Bull.
Yep.
And last but not least, Kyle Frame Racing has dropped some merch, and it is absolute fire.
Yeah.
It looks really good, so shout out Kyle and his group for that. You can find all the information for that on our social media. So go get you some Kyle Frame merch. Rep Kyle Frame. Our logo is on the back, so
which I think is cool, and I will say that I appreciate that.
I 100% appreciate that as well.
I plan on ordering some merch when I get paid again.
I need to. I need some more race car merch. I don't have enough.
I am definitely going to get a shirt and sweatshirt from Kyle. Chase Elliott released some new merch today, too. I saw that. His sweatshirt looks nice. Sweatshirts look nice.
I believe we should be getting some from Aiden, Chance's sister's boyfriend.
Yeah. Excited about that. Yeah.
So, anyway, that's all that I have for this week. Pretty straightforward. We did go off on a little bit of a tangent, but hey.
It's our podcast.
It's our podcast, and we can do what we want.
And we've made it to 34 episodes, so I think we can do what we want.
It's my podcast, and I'll do what I want.
And if you don't like it, just skip ahead. You know?
Yeah. By all means.
Yeah. Anyway.
I really don't. I don't have anything else. Yeah. I guess if you guys have anything, listener-wise, if you guys have anything that you would like us to speak more on that we don't speak enough on, or just if you would like us to talk less about something.
Now, if you want to tell us just to stop doing it altogether, don't leave that comment. Criticize us, but don't hurt our feelings.
You can leave it all you want, but we're just going to ignore it.
I'd rather you don't, because it would hurt my feelings.
Oh, okay. But
I mean, do you, I guess. You could say you suck and you should stop, but I would probably be hurt by that.
We don't suck. We're having fun, and that's all that matters.
Yeah. So,
but
you don't like it, start your own podcast.
Absolutely. Anyway, thank you guys.